My name is Charlie, and I just finished my year studying for the Diploma in Theology for ministry at Westfield House within the Federation. And for me, I did my undergrad in the States and then got my MDiv in the States. And after that, spent a year working for a church in New York. And after that, was convinced that I wanted to do a little bit more schooling before I got ordained, and a theologian in the States ended up connecting me with Dr. Boris Gunjevich, who is the director of studies at Westfield House, and he convinced me to do this DTM year, and I'm so glad that he did. It's been a really, really wonderful year. My day-to-day, usually I woke up in the morning and I got a bit of reading done, and I usually tended to have lectures and supervisions in the afternoon, and so for me during the day it was a lot of studying and reading, and then at night, on Thursday nights we had specifically evening prayer at Westfield House, and then other than that I would often go to evensongs and that kind of thing. And so for me it was a really nice balance of studying and reading and going to lectures, but then also having that spiritual side of going to worship services, and then in the evening being able to hang out with friends and talk about theology and random other stuff going on with a lot of my friends, both at Westfield House and at the Federation more broadly. I think the supervisions both at the Federation and at the university have just been super helpful because I think they invite you to think more critically than you would at other places, just because the way that you do it is you write an essay or an outline that kind of sketches out your thoughts, and then you get to be with a professor for an hour, either one-on-one or in a small group, where they really encourage you to think very, very deeply about these topics. And so I think more than specifically the content, it's about the form of the learning, that they teach you to think very critically and very deeply about your faith in a way that has really encouraged me to grow in my faith, and I've really, really appreciated that. Honestly, I feel like it's just a really great way to both prepare for ministry and also think more critically about the faith yourself. That for me, it's one of these things that, if Jesus really rose from the dead, which it seems to be the historical case, that changes the reality of life itself. And so it's so encouraging and nourishing to actually go into a place where you can learn about God and Jesus and the impact that he has on your life and other lives. And I feel like it's just been a really great year to dive into the reality of faith, and both personally for growth, but then also for understanding these ideas and through certain experiences working with churches and college chapels, to be able to experience what it's like to actually minister out that truth in others. And I think it's a really, really great place, both for personal growth, but then also for preparation for ministry. First, it's really encouraged me to help think more critically, theologically, and to kind of dive more into specific details of theological texts and be able to read them really well, which I think is just a trait that I think will serve me well in general. But I'd say more so than that, I think with kind of the rhythm of worship here at the CTF, and with that in combination with the rigorous academics, they kind of balance each other out really well, and in so doing have kind of given me a new sense of the peace that surpasses all understanding, that even when things are stressful, that I can rely on God and continue to go to the worship service and rely on him in everything. And because of that, experience this peace that surpasses all understanding is something that for me is really special. And no matter where I go in life, I think it's something that I'm really going to lean on. That it's one of those things that theoretically you always know that you can lean on God, but especially in a place like this, it's really encouraged, and I found that very transformative.